Most of us are told from day one that we need to go out and we need to buy a house, and that's the American dream. And we need to, invest through our tax advantaged retirement accounts and, dot all the I's and cross all the T's. But there's a problem with that, and that's that it locks up all your money in these places where you can't actually reach it. So, yeah, let's dig in early here, and a couple of the things that maybe you might want to do with your money, but can't if you are locked in this middle class trap of having your money locked away where you can't touch it, is you can't retire early, right? So let's say that you save and invest a bunch of money for retirement, and you have a bunch of equity in your house because you bought well and it's appreciated well, and you have enough money that where you could retire, but you can't. Maybe you're
And to be honest with you, most people in my age frame, that was the goal. You save and save and save, don't touch until you retire at 60, whatever. And it's maybe good for some, but most people, I don't think so.
Yeah, you can't do that stuff if you can't touch your money, right? If it's all locked away in retirement accounts or HSAs or 529 plans, or other tax advantage retirement account or tax advantaged accounts, which are great, but you often can't touch them. So that's why we want to break down a couple ideas for how to spring the trap, or escape the trap rather. And there's a couple other advantages there, besides the tax-free compounding, and that is that Roth accounts actually let you withdraw your contributions at any time because you've already paid taxes on them. So they do provide more flexibility where you can tap into them and pull your money out, or at least some of your money out, if you need to or if you want to. We get together with an investment club of other people every month. We vet new investments together. We go in on them together. Each person can invest relatively small amounts, $5,000 or more, as opposed to the typical 50 grand or 100 grand that you normally need to invest in these types of investments. And
And
these
then
come
deal
with,
with the tenants and the toilets.
yeah, exactly. Denny and I were both landlords in our former lives. I hated being a landlord. It was a ton of work. And I didn't earn the returns that I thought I would either. So, yeah, no, I've grown to love passive real estate investments. So a couple of things here to note. Private equity real estate comes with its own built-in tax advantages. So you don't have to worry about investing in it through tax-advantaged retirement accounts. All right, number 4, you can tap into your home equity. If you have a ton of money tied up in your house in the form of equity, then you can tap into it with a HELOC or with a second mortgage. Now, HELOCs are great because they're flexible. You can draw them down, or you can draw them as you need them and then pay them back as you want on your own schedule. In some ways, it's kind of like a credit card that happens to be tied to your house. And the interest rate is significantly lower in most cases than credit cards. Now, Denny, I feel like you have some experience with either HELOCs or HELs, home equity loans. Do you have some personal experience that you want to share about those? And one final thought with house hacking, you don't necessarily need to own your own home in order to do it. I have a good friend back in Baltimore who she rented an apartment. It was a 2-story apartment, and the upstairs was a bedroom, bathroom suite, basically. And she would rent out that suite on Airbnb. And she found that if she rented it for 2 long weekends a month, so basically like 2 3-day weekends a month, then that would cover almost her entire rent payment for
That's
the month.
awesome.
Yeah, so you can get creative with this stuff. And you don't have to fall into that middle class trap that so many people do. And if you can find ways of avoiding that trap or escaping that trap, you can do things like retire early, take 3 months, 6 months, a year off of work, maybe take time off to switch to a new career that would be more fulfilling for you or potentially pay more.
Retiring early.
So, avoid the middle class trap, or if you're already in it, find ways to escape it. We covered some of those today. Denny, any final thoughts before we call this episode complete?
No, I just think, again, I push it all the time, but creativity is essential. And, we live in a world that tells us this is what we do and this is how you do it. You work 9 to 5 and whatnot, but that's not true. It's if you have the desire, you can make it happen.
Absolutely. And I feel like most people fall into this trap in the first place because they're trying to do the so-called right things of, oh, buy a house and put money in my retirement accounts. But this is why we have an entire show around thinking outside the box with your money.